One of the most powerful committees in college sports says players should be allowed to make money from their own personal brand.
The NCAA Division I Council voted to recommend a new policy letting college athletes profit from their name, image, and likeness until Congress approves a nationwide law. CBS 46's Ashley Thompson reports.
Mertz wants to throw it. He's going for the end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
College athletes like Wisconsin quarterback Graham Mertz may soon be able to profit from things like autograph signings, endorsements, and social media posts under the new NCAA recommendations.
It's definitely an exciting opportunity.
The Badger trademarked his own logo yesterday.
You can't let this overtake what you're doing on the field and what you're doing in the classroom, on the basketball court, volleyball court. The second you let NIL go over the school and your sport, that's where you messed up.
If passed, the governing board would suspend amateurism rules related to name, image, and likeness. And a temporary policy would allow athletes to engage in this type of activity without violating NCAA rules.
It's obviously long overdue.
Gary Parrish is a CBS Sports television analyst. He says pressure comes from these 9 states that have laws starting in July giving athletes the ability to profit from their fame, whether the NCAA approves the policy or not.
The NCAA had been dealing with this issue literally for years and promising to do something, but never did anything until they were forced into this corner.
This is all part of a battle that's been brewing for years. And just last week, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled the NCAA could not cap education-related benefits.
They now know that if they try to restrict on name, image, and likeness with their rules, they'll be the ones that get sued, and they'll ultimately be the ones that lose.
Come Thursday, student athletes will be able to make a lot more money with fewer restrictions. In Atlanta, Ashley Thompson, CBS 46 News.
Now on CBS 46 News at 6.
Scraping away racist ties.
It's great to see the changes.
A prestigious local university addressing its troubling past. Atlanta nightclub chaos. 2 people shot.
Was headed to the club, and that's when the people started shooting.
And it's not the first time. Tonight, demands for change. The Hawks, down but not out. But superstar Trae Young's health is in question. We're live ahead of Game 4. But first at 6, breaking news. Former President Trump says legendary Georgia football star Herschel Walker will run for the U.S. Senate. In a radio interview, the former president says Walker told him he would run in 2022. The former Heisman Trophy winner would likely enter the Republican primary as the favorite here in Georgia.
Also new at 6, a history of racism tied to some of Georgia's most prestigious schools. Tonight, Emory University addressing its disturbing past. Emory is now removing names of those linked to slavery from its buildings.
But the push doesn't stop there. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston is live on Emory's campus for us at one of the buildings getting a new name tonight. Yasmina.
Yeah, Rick, Longstreet Means is that building that you see here behind me, and it's going to get a new name because of Longstreet's history. He was actually an Emory president at one point in time and used that position to promote pro-slavery views. Students tell me today that it's about time these changes are happening.
Someone who deeply cared for others.
James Johnson III is talking about his father, Horace J. Johnson Jr., the first black Superior Court judge to serve in the Alcovy Judicial Circuit, the first black attorney to practice in Newton County, and one of the first students to integrate the county school system. It's his name that will soon be on this Emory-Oxford College building.
We're actually coming up on the anniversary of his passing on Thursday, and so to have this announcement come out within that couple-day window is obviously a wide range of emotions.
Changing the name of Language Hall to honor Johnson is just one of the changes. The university's president says after looking at Emory's history, which includes a legacy of racism, it was time to take action. Longstreet Means Hall will be renamed Eagle Hall. Longstreet was once president and promoted pro-slavery views. Johnson says it's good to finally see these changes happening.
It's great to recognize our country's history.
But not just at Emory. The University System of Georgia formed an advisory group to review and study the names of buildings and colleges in the state. The same push at the University of Georgia, where there's a group specifically working to rename Grady College. The name Henry W. Grady, recently removed from an Atlanta school to separate from Grady and his support of white supremacy.
I think it needed to happen.
Johnson tells me his father and others who will now be honored are deserving.
He was a lifelong public servant always put others above himself.
And the renaming of the buildings isn't the only thing Emory is doing. They're also going to make 2 memorials to honor the slaves who helped to build this university. Live at Emory University, Yasmina Alston, CBS 46 News.
Yasmina, thank you. Also breaking at 6, a heinous crime in Lithonia. Police just releasing this video of a man they say is armed and dangerous. He reportedly shot a Pizza Hut manager walking home from work on June 18th. Police say the attacker was wearing a red hoodie that said, "Warning, I really don't care." Tonight on CBS 46 at 11, we're talking to the victim's mother.
Also developing tonight, chaos erupts at an Atlanta gentlemen's club.
Calls for changes after 2 more people were shot.
The gunfire at Onyx on Cheshire Bridge Road, sending people running for cover this morning.
CBS 46's Tori Cooper live outside of that club. And Tori, many are now calling this a nuisance.
Sean, Atlanta City Councilwoman from District 6, Jennifer Ide, says that the gun violence at the Onyx Gentleman Nightclub and Northeast Atlanta is out of control. It's unacceptable, and it's causing anxiety among residents. This witness video shows the moments police say 2 people were shot at the Onyx nightclub around 3:30 this morning and left in stable condition.
A car had stopped to let me go, and then they started shooting again. And then when they started shooting again, they ended up taking off and ended up hitting me.
This man didn't want to show his face, but showed up outside the nightclub in his hospital gown and sling this afternoon. He says he was hit by a car while trying to flee the gunfire at the Onyx nightclub parking lot early this morning.
I had just crossed the street to go, and that's when they started shooting. So I ducked down to the ground, took off running back to my car.
Brandon says he broke his wrist and the driver fled after striking him. But this scene from last night is now attracting the eyes of Atlanta City Councilwoman Jennifer Ide. She's now trying to strip the business of its liquor license. In May, Atlanta City Council passed legislation allowing the city to suspend or revoke a business's alcohol license for violations of the new violent conduct nuisance law in the city after one offense. In a statement to CBS 46, Ide says in part that this is the second shooting at Onyx since it reopened. They have an obligation to operate responsibly with their liquor license, and she has asked the Permit and Licensing Review Board to make action against Onyx a top priority. Meanwhile, Brandon says regardless of the outcome, this was his first and last time attending the Onyx nightclub.
Yeah, I don't want to come back because after what happened.
Now, Ide says this should act as a firm reminder to all nightlife businesses that if you are out of compliance, council members will be pushing the Licensing and Review Board to act and pull your liquor license if you pose a nuisance to the community. Reporting live in Northeast Atlanta, I'm Tori Cooper, CBS 46 News.
Thank you, Tori. A live look out at Atlanta tonight, and the city is drying out from the remnants of Tropical Storm Danny, and you can see a lot of blue in the sky and a couple puffy clouds here and there, but there could be some thunderstorms on the way.
Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez joins us now with Atlanta's most accurate forecast. Jen, good evening.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, and thankfully Danny is moving out of here, the center of what was Danny, now moving over western Tennessee. Still seeing a couple little areas of rain. They are very isolated, mainly in the North Georgia mountains through northern Cherokee County into Gilmer County. But most of us will be dry tonight as these rain chances continue to diminish. And although we will be dry tonight, we do have more rain in the forecast. Tomorrow, only a 20% chance of an afternoon pop-up. It will be hot with partly cloudy skies with highs in the upper 80s. Then on Friday, that's when more rain arrives. After it moves out, we've got a great holiday weekend. We're going to talk about that and more action in the tropics coming up.
All right, Jen, thank you. New at 6, an up-close look at vandalism targeting the Atlanta Police Foundation. This is body cam video that shows vulgar graffiti sprayed on the walls inside the building on Peachtree Street. The criminals also shattered glass windows. Investigators believe they were protesting plans for a new public safety training center. No arrests have been made. The Gwinnett County Sheriff is speaking out after a lawsuit against him is dropped. A bail bond company accused Kibo Taylor of funneling business away from their office because they did not contribute to his campaign. CBS 46's Adam Murphy live outside the company at the center of this controversy tonight. Adam.
Good evening, Rick. I'll tell you, the sheriff accused management here at Anytime Bail Bonding on Buford Drive in Lawrenceville of engaging in deceptive business practices today, calling their actions politically motivated.
And I trusted the judicial system and knew that I would be vindicated.
Gwinnett County Sheriff Kibo Taylor called a news briefing Tuesday to claim his innocence after being accused of extortion by Anytime Bail Bonding in Lawrenceville.
I mean, if folks don't support me, I'm not going to let them bond here. Right. I mean, I'm just not going to do it.
According to a lawsuit filed by the bonding company, this 2019 video shows Taylor saying he would not let Anytime Bail Bonding do business as usual unless they supported his campaign. The meeting was before Taylor was elected to office.
Now, out of that 20-minute conversation, they deliberately deleted all of that conversation with the exception of 25 seconds.
The sheriff said his words were taken out of context. Still, he revoked Anytime's authority to post new bonds in Gwinnett County after he took office in January.
The court stated that I had the authority to determine who is authorized to write bonds in Gwinnett County. The judge stated in his rulings that there was evidence of deceptive practices and dishonest practices.
Anytime Bail Bonding CEO Scott Hall and Director of Operations Paul Stewart claimed they were retaliated against for not financially supporting Taylor's campaign for sheriff. CBS 46 dug through campaign finance records and discovered a manager at Anytime Bail Bonding donated $2,800 to Taylor's opponent, that during the campaign. While the case has been dropped, the GBI is investigating.
The settlement agreement speaks for itself, and it states that number one, the plaintiff, Scott Hall and Paul Stewart, abandoned all of their claims against me and agreed to dismiss the lawsuit.
And the sheriff said the CEO of Anytime Bail Bonding, Scott Hall, resigned and is banned from engaging in any bonding business in the county. And Director of Operations Paul Stewart is no longer affiliated with any bonding business in Gwinnett County. I'm also told other employees here will not lose their jobs, and this particular company is now required to change its name. In Lawrenceville tonight, Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
The man arrested in DeKalb County accused of shooting a Daytona Beach police officer headed back to Florida. Othal Wallace signed his extradition papers this morning. Investigators say Wallace shot Officer Jason Raynor last Wednesday. Wallace was found hiding in this treehouse. Police say Wallace was a member of NFAC, which is a black nationalist paramilitary organization. A leader says Wallace left the group earlier this year.
He left us, and what he did after that, that's his life. He's still our brother, and his side of the story needs to be heard. That's why we have a court system.
Officer Raynor remains in critical condition tonight. Tip-off in just over 2 hours. As the Hawks look to even the Eastern Conference Finals, they're going to take on, they are going to take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight in Atlanta.
Well, that's not the right graphic there in that video there, but we will tell you that the biggest question mark with tonight's game is the health of their young superstar, Trae Young. He is expected to play despite suffering a bone bruise on his foot in Game 3. But how effective will he be?
Let's go straight to sports reporter Emily Gagnon. Emily, you've been speaking to the players, kind of getting a feel for the crowd, at least the crowd that's outside. What are you hearing, and can they pull this off?
Yeah, I guess we will find out tonight. I can say that this team goes as Trae Young goes, and when he's not on the floor, this team isn't as confident. Really quickly, though, I want you to think about something. This team has lost 3 of their last 4 playoff games here at home. That's what I'm talking about. Their record here at home, not as good as you'd want it to be. No excuses, right? You should be able to play your butt off here at home. Guys, take a look at that Trae Young footage, though. This is the video that we don't want to see, that we continue to watch when he hurt himself on Sunday night in Game 3. They lost that game. Trae Young, such a big part of this team. We will find out his status at 6:45 when interim head coach Nate McMillan updates us. Guys, fans we talked to just minutes ago, of course, they still think that this team can pull it off without the star.
Gotta believe, baby. You gotta believe. That's why we out here. We out here to support the team. We understand our star. Not all of us. All of them are stars because no one expected them to get this far. So we understand that a lot was riding on Trey, but I believe that his supporting cast is going to step up. I believe they're going to step up. I believe that we understand the assignment. I believe that.
You know, I can't think of a better game than Game 7 in Philadelphia. Who needs to step up? Kevin Huerter. Those 27 points that he scored in that game to help the Hawks win that night when Trey was not having the best night, that's what needs to happen tonight. If Trey plays, which I do think he will, in pain, I don't know what kind of Trey we're going to see, but the guys around him have to find ways to the basket. We're back in sports. Fred Khalil has the latest on the Hawks in just a bit. Guys.
Thank you, MLA. Weeks in the ICU, a veteran police officer, severe struggle with COVID-19.
I love helping people, and it's been kind of hard not to be at work, to be with my guys, to be there for them.
The community rallying support in the CBS 46 Surprise Squad helping out too. We're going to show you how. Up next.
The CBS 46 Surprise Squad. The CBS 46 Surprise Squad is sponsored by United Community Bank and Dunkin'.
You never really know who your friends are until your back is against the wall.
Isn't that true? A Cherokee County family found that out firsthand. Here's Gravir Dinza and the CBS 46 Surprise Squad.
I think for me, the anxiety is I've never been through this.
Clinton Martin's view on life these days comes from a makeshift hospital bed in his house.
I don't think you get closer than what I just got.
To meeting your maker?
Yes, ma'am.
The ex-Marine and veteran Alpharetta police officer isn't used to being still, much less laid up.
People say don't look into the light.
Today,
So I didn't see a light.
he's just grateful to be alive.
I saw a replay of my life.
Is it overwhelming?
In April, Martin, his wife Maria, and 2 of their 3 children got COVID.
Because they don't happen real quick.
Talking about that day is still emotional.
He was sitting at the kitchen table. He was completely non-responsive to me. He could stare at me with very wide eyes, but he could not verbally respond to anything I asked.
I couldn't even process things.
Not knowing whether or not I was going to ever see anybody again.
So I said, Clinton, I'm vaccinated 100%.
Very scary not knowing what was going to happen.
Take your mask off. You don't need to worry about me. I'm going to back away from you.
Hadn't said goodbye. Hadn't said I love you.
And we have two ambulances are on the way.
Clinton would spend the next 50 days in the ICU.
You came exactly at the right time. Because if you were not here and make the call, my husband would not be here.
Neighbors rallied.
You know, what can we do? Can we get the grass mowed? Can we provide food? Can we give money?
So did his fellow officers with the Alpharetta Police Department, coming through with fundraisers and giving up their own sick time.
I love helping people, and it's been kind of hard not to be at work, to be with my guys, to be there for them.
And since he can't get to them, his brothers and sisters in blue came to him.
Can you open the curtains, please?
Showing up in force just after Father's Day to welcome him home.
Guys are here for you. See this? The CBS46 Surprise Squad heard your story and Clinton's story. And so we wanted to step up and do something for you.
Setting up a ramp to help Martin navigate a wheelchair
With no steps to have to deal with.
Duncan coming through with a special treat.
We'd love to send you and your family to an Atlanta United game whenever you're ready.
They love soccer. That's going to be awesome.
To help financially from United Community Bank.
UCB and the Surprise Squad with a check.
Thank you, guys. Thank
For
you.
$2,000.
Thank you.
The love and support is overwhelming for Martin.
Good to see you at home, man. Good to see you home.
The pain of the last few months fading
For everything.
with each hug.
No problem. He's the anchor on our squad.
Gratitude overcoming fear.
It's good to see you. Been saying a lot of prayers for you. A lot of prayers.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome. This is more than we can ever ask.
It's the love I was talking about.
For the CBS 46 Surprise Squad,
When you don't expect it, this is given to you unconditional. Definitely choked me up. That's good to see.
I'm Gurveer Dinsa.
And after visiting Clinton and his family last week, we have learned that he has been admitted back into the hospital. He is now in the ICU. His family is asking that everyone keep him in your prayers. We certainly are. Well, if you know someone doing something good in their community, send us a nomination at Surprise Squad at CBS46.com.
Now,